Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Force Chatter. I'm Eric and I am joined tonight by Lou and Tim. Lou, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. We haven't done a show with all of us in a while here. Well, actually, I shouldn't say all of us because we're missing Tom, but, three-fourths
of us, yes. Tom, unfortunately, is feeling a little bit under the weather. Speaking of feeling under the weather, Tim, how are you doing? I know you haven't been your full 100% recently.
Yeah, I was under the weather for a bit. I'm mostly good now. Good. So life is good, feeling better.
Is most harmless? Is that
also
kind of?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll also working my butt off, so there's that too, which is
it makes it hard
exhausting.
to sit.
Yes,
because then
it
you're
does.
just like sitting on your thighs, and it just
yeah, you don't want to do that. You need to have.
It's good to have a butt. That's what we should title the episode. It's good to have a butt.
It's good to have a butt.
It's good to have a.
All right. No, actually, this episode we have we don't really have like a big news item per se, but we have some really, really interesting smaller items. We're going to talk a little bit about a rumored prequel character returning. Well, they're confirmed to be in the prequels because, I mean, the prequels have already happened. We kind of know at this point who's there and who's not, but we may be seeing someone again that we haven't seen in a while. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We have some interesting casting news about The Mandalorian Season 3. We have some new upcoming Lego products. One I'm actually kind of excited for this time around. A lot of times I'm kind of like, that's cool, but I probably won't pick it up. This time around, I'm kind of excited about these, and I kind of feel like they should have been done for a while now. And the new Lego Star Wars Complete Saga video game that's coming out in about a week. But first, a topic we've discussed before here on the show, the Galactic Starcruiser, as part of the Disney resorts, Disney Parks and Rec. I don't know, what is their department that handles that kind of stuff?
Disney Parks, I think, is just the department, or at least the
Disney
division.
Parks. Okay, so they, of course, they built this big hotel, which is supposed to be like a cruise ship out in space, and we've talked about it before, how expensive it is, and then the preview videos came out and looked absolutely ridiculous, like laughably bad.
Well, parts of it. I mean,
there were two videos that came out.
The whole thing.
One, parts looked like maybe okay, and the other I thought was laughably bad.
Yeah, the other one was really bad.
Yeah. But people have actually gotten to go now. People were invited for like media and bloggers and YouTubers and stuff like that, got to go and actually experience it. And I follow a YouTube channel where I can't stand the two hosts, but they do really good
That's
reviews.
why I follow all my YouTube channels.
Yeah. I bet all of 100% of our followers here.
Right, people follow us.
Yeah, but these two people, it's a husband and wife team. They do really good reviews, and they covered a lot of the Batuu stuff when it was first launching. They've covered the new Disney cruise line, the cruise ship that just opened up, the biggest cruise ship ever or something. They do a lot of reviews, and they're very thorough, and they're mostly objective. And I watched a 4 1-hour videos of them documenting the entire cruise from the night they arrived to the morning they left. And so I've looked at some other videos too, but I've done research on this. Like, I've spent more time watching videos of this than I have like movie duologies, almost movie trilogies probably. So have you guys gotten to watch any footage, any reviews of people who have actually been there, not people who were reviewing the promotional material?
Yeah, so they did their media visit a couple of weekends ago, and there's a number of notables in the fandom and such that did get to go, and folks put out some various things, pictures, videos, some written stuff, and I think probably the most fair reviews were saying, hey, yeah, it's it's pretty cool. There's some good stuff here. It's got some issues, but give it a shot. Asterisk if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Lou, did you get to watch any of the actual footage or videos or anything?
I've stayed away from a lot of that. I've seen bits and pieces here and there. I didn't want to get the story of what happens, but I think everybody, like Tim said, everybody has kind of the same reaction. It's really good. It's really immersive. A couple of things are kind of wonky. Lightsaber training, that kind of stuff is just not quite ready for prime time. But the experience, the food, the feeling like you're a part of something is really cool. That's kind of what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing that if you kind of do your homework and prepare your backstory and kind of prepare to be immersed in the Starcruiser, you're going to have a much better time than if you don't get that kind of thing.
So some takeaways that I saw, I was surprised there were far more positives than there were negatives. Of course, the price is a negative. We've talked about that already. One of the surprising negatives for me were that people were saying that when you look out the windows of the rooms, of the hallways, whatever, it doesn't look as good as they were expecting it to. And you've kind of got that thick curved glass, fisheye sort of feel to it. Like it's a lot of the light's kind of refracted and it looks a little weird.
Well, you're in space, man. You got to have that thick glass to protect against radiation.
Transparent steel.
And the vacuum out there. I mean, come on.
That's true. And I think that's kind of a minor quibble. The immersion of the staff and the crew and all that kind of stuff was way, way, way beyond even what I thought it was going to be. So when they do like the crew muster, or, they'll do an evening toast or something like that, that's when a lot of the story elements take place. And I think that's one of the reasons why they have such a small guest capacity is because if it were much bigger, they would not be able to have the storyline be as intricate as it is. And it was interesting to see, and we won't get into any spoilers about the story here really, but it was interesting to see how depending on like if you're out in the main lobby area or one of these side rooms or something like that, you might be seeing parts of the story with like the ship's captain versus over here, you've got the musicians from the cantina having a separate story. And then over here, the engineers dealing with the Imperials who also show up on the first night of the cruise. Big surprise. Like getting in the way of things, but these different stories all intertwine, and depending on which one you're at, like, so for the review I was watching, there were 3 people in this party, this group who went to do the cruise, and they kind of all split up. And when they came back, they each kind of had different pieces of the bigger story, except any one of them would have been content with the story they had, but when they put it all together, there was a bigger story going on. And it was interesting to see how, as the crew members are like walking from one area to another, you can just overhear their conversations and talking amongst themselves, and you get more elements of the story. And the ship's captain and the musician and stuff like that actually talk directly with crew members and remember their names and send them secret missions to their data pad, which is an app on your phone, and different things like that. Like, they were highly immersive. It wasn't just like walking up to the merchants in Batuu at Galaxy's Edge and they're in character. This was like these people actually remember you, and there's an ongoing storyline that you're kind of involved with, to the point where one of the complaints was, for some people, it might be a little overwhelming because there are moments where there's so many different things going on. You almost get sensory overload. You're not sure which, do I want to go over here or do I want to go over there? And you don't really have a basis upon which to make that decision. You don't know which is going to be the more interesting part of the story. You don't really get any of that.
Well, that was one of the complaints I heard even from some of the reviewers that went on that media preview weekend, where they said that, look, you're not going to get to see everything. You're not going to get to do every part of the story. And they kept trying to play it off as, well, you come back and do it again.
How rich are you?
At that price,
Sure.
you're not going to get a second
Right.
shot at this. So if you're not going to
And
get to see the whole
that's
thing,
the key.
does that take away from it?
Yeah. I would almost say that I know people have different feelings on spoilers, and this isn't a movie. This is a park experience. I kind of feel like it would be good to watch some of these videos and kind of get an idea of which direction you might want to follow. There are some, you're going to get the overall storyline, but there are things like a well-known Star Wars character shows up at one point on the ship, and then the Imperials want this character detained, and so the little kids are all following a couple of the crew members to go try to break this character out of the brig, which requires distracting some of the First Order troopers. And so, are you part of the people who are distracting the stormtroopers and doing this other thing, or are you going and breaking this person out of the brig? And if you're a kid, you're going to love it. I'd say probably teenagers are going to love it. If you're a grown-up who really gets into Star Wars and really wants to feel that, I think you're going to love it. If you're very much a spectator in your Star Wars fandom, if you're more of a wallflower, I don't know that this is really the experience for you. It's very interactive. It's socially interactive. And not that you have to be socially assertive, but it's almost like dinner theater that lasts the whole day.
Okay.
Right. And I can see that. And from what I read and from what I've seen online, it does feel like if you have an improv background or a stage background, you're going to get more out of this because you're on performance as much as the cast members are, really. And like I mentioned a couple weeks ago on the show too, if you do your homework before you go to Galaxy's Edge, as far as your own backstory and wanting to play along with the cast, they will play along with you as much as you play along with them. And you get more out of it that way. And this isn't, that's not a scripted thing like this is. There's a story you've got to uncover on the Galaxy's Edge. on the Starcruiser. So you're going to get that in a more organized fashion. It's not just all improv.
But that's a good point too. If you are at all into acting or improv or something like that, if you feel like you could be a character, you will love this. This is your thing. Okay. This is like you going home to the mothership, no pun intended. I don't know. I was more impressed with it than I thought. Yeah. The lightsaber training thing, it was even better than I thought it was. I don't think I would be that interested in it. The sabacc stuff looked interesting. And the food looked really good. It felt as rushed as we all speculated it probably would be. The people doing the reviews were as exhausted at the end as we expected visitors would be. The Batuu thing, they got the fast passes. It's part of your inclusion, and you have personal concierges while you're on Batuu.
Well,
the ship.
For that dollar amount,
right? Yeah, they should be giving you a massage while you're waiting in line and everything.
Right.
But they almost said, skip Batuu and just stay on the ship. Almost like it was.
Right.
The Batuu part felt rushed, even with the fast passes and everything. But I don't know. Like overall, it seemed way better than we had all believed, and so I was glad to see that. At least.
Yeah, I think the big center point of the discussion ends up coming down to value.
Yes.
So it's which is then, obviously a matter of financial ability to do so, and if you can, still even then the trade-off of is it worth the experience for me to be staying there whatever it is, 2 nights, 3 nights? For that dollar amount versus, and I think you made this comparison before, Eric, when we were talking about it, like you can take your entire family away for, a week, if not more, for that same cost. So,
Yeah. And that's the hard thing. So I'll say this though, like I've done 2 cruises now. One was, my first was a 9-day Alaska cruise, and it was nice because it was relaxing. But there were times where we were just sitting on the balcony watching the world go by. There were times where we were kind of off finding our own entertainment, whether it was shopping or even playing ping pong on the ping pong tables they had set up, or sitting in a hot tub. This is very much not like that. You will not have to find things to do. You are almost being rushed from one activity to another. There is zero shortage of things going on, and it genuinely all seemed pretty interesting for the most part. So I guess it's a very different experience. If you want relaxation, you're not going to get it there. But if you want immersion and you're willing to participate, this actually is unique. Like, I'm wondering now if it may actually be worth it for the right type of people. Again, I think there are some fans for whom it's not going to be. If you're not the type of person to, like, you know, get up in the crowd and cheer at Star Wars Celebration when they got the, you know, people walking out on the stage and stuff. If you're going to kind of, the person in the back row just kind of sitting there on your phone and like, oh, okay, yeah, Harrison Ford just walked out, then you're not going to get into this. But I think it may be worth it for more people than I expected. So anyway, I think that overall, the takeaway from this is maybe it's not as bad as everyone thought. Yes, it's expensive. And yes, it's not for everybody, but I think, especially if you got a group of people and you really wanted to, like, social, if you had a social group with you, like if the three of us went, we would love it, in part because we're participating with one another. And then also in this, and then you can do the character, you can do the cosplay if you want to. You can have the whole backstory and everything. But like one of the musicians in the band is a female Rhodian, and she has a fully articulate mask and you know, helmet, whatever you want to call it, a mask, and lips move and stuff like that, and everything she says is in Huttese. And so you're sitting there trying to, like, communicate with her, and it's a lot of body language and stuff. And the cast, like I said, they remember who you are throughout the 3-day thing and refer to you by name. And I don't know, it looked like it was probably better than we thought. So that's nice. Have you guys?
Yeah, it's encouraging.
It is. It really is, because I don't want Star Wars stuff to fail. You know?
Agreed. And that's the thing that I think, and this is something that we've talked about a lot, whether it is a movie or a series or a game or this, whatever, there's plenty of stuff out there for everyone. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if it's something that's not for you, then that's cool. Just move on, move along.
Speaking of things that are for us, have you guys seen the new Lego dioramas?
Yes.
Yes.
Where have these been? These should have been around years ago. Granted,
they really should have. These
small.
Are really cool.
Well, they did. They were all in our heads and we built them, but they didn't look anywhere near as cool as this.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember Mediocre Modeler taking some of the model kits and kind of kit bashing an Alphabet Squadron like docking hangar thing. And then I saw this this Lego diorama of the Death Star trench run. And the first thing that came into my mind was, ooh, if he had like 4 of these sets and kind of like pieced them together into like a bigger, larger thing, what could he do with it? They look really good. Mm-hmm. I wish they were big instead of, you know, decent size.
They're kind of small. Yeah, they're kind of small.
But,
they're a tiny little display piece, but they're really neat.
Well, the bigger they are, the more space they take, and then where are you going to put them? So that's another consideration.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they kind of work really well because, I mean, you know, the helmets are kind of in the same vein as this, and then the probe droid and the meditation chamber and stuff. They're all building these pieces now that are more of a display piece than just a ship or a you know, creature. Yeah. And these look really good, and you know, I can put up around the house and I don't get too yelled at. So you know.
Yeah. So what they've got is there are 3. There's and one I think is exclusive to. Where is it? Amazon, Walmart, one of the big places. One is the Death Star Trench, which has, I think, an X-Wing and 3 TIE fighters. One is Dagobah, Yoda's hut. And that looks surprisingly good. And then the one that I did not get to see a picture of was the Dianoga set, I guess, the trash compactor.
Oh,
the trash compactor.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
didn't
I
see
saw
that either.
the second one you
Yoda's
mentioned
Hut?
there. I only saw the two. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, there are pictures
look
for
at
it, and it looks, like I said, it looks surprisingly good. Like I think they kind of captured the organic look of it and the vegetation.
It's
and,
on.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah,
Lego
you pulled
site
it up?
right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks pretty good,
Yeah,
right?
Okay. I never saw. Yeah, it does look pretty good. Yeah.
I'm curious what the Dianoga.
But yeah, the trash compactor looks pretty cool, and the
throw a link in the Skype
trash
chat
looks pretty
if you
cool,
would, because
yeah.
I have not seen the trash compactor one. So
Yeah,
but
nor
these
have I.
look really good. Now, I also did not get a price point on these. Lou, does it say anything?
$89.99 for the trash compactor.
Okay.
I got that up on my screen here right now. I'll get the other ones in a
So-
second here.
That Dianoga better be darn right kissable for that price.
That's the catch, right? Like, how much are the other two sets too? And it's the Dianoga,
that
being that
one-
it's an exclusive. Maybe is it more expensive than the others? I don't know. To scale, it looks pretty comparable. I'm pulling up the website here from the link you sent me. Oh, accept all of the little pop-up things, and yes, I'll accept the cookies.
Yeah, so it looks like you can pre-order all these right on Lego.com
Interesting.
because they're all there. It says pre-order, add to bag.
I'll be honest. This one does not look
The
as
Dagobah-
good to me as the others.
The Dagobah is $79.99,
Okay.
and the Trench Run is $59.99.
Oh, wow.
So
So what I do like about the trash compactor is that it has some mechanical aspect to it that you can actually close the walls
I
in.
did see that. Yeah.
yeah.
That's very
Don't
cool.
they all have something you can move? Don't they all have moving pieces? I
I don't
thought.
know. I didn't look into them that closely.
Because there was another one, the Dark Trooper attack one is kind of the same thing where you can move the Dark Troopers.
Dark Trooper. Is it a diorama for the Dark Trooper?
yeah.
Really? I was only aware of 3.
Nope, I saw this one the other day. It's like a little, not quite as intriguing, not quite as intricate as the other ones are. It's got Luke with a lightsaber and 3 Dark Troopers, and you can slide, I guess, the Dark Troopers towards Luke.
I'm gonna have to browse through.
That's on that same page. If you back out one page on that.
Backing out.
Yeah, and I don't know what you can do here on Dagobah.
And the Dark Trooper attack is only $30, so it must be smaller.
Oh, I see the one you're talking about. Yeah, that looks more like more of a traditional sort of a little thing. These are a little bit different.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't call that one a diorama, but it looks like it's kind of in the same vein. But yeah, I mean, they all look
They
pretty
do.
cool.
Yeah.
The Jedi training one on Dagobah doesn't look as good to me as the trash compactor or the
And
the
see,
trench run.
I
Those
like
two
the
look pretty
trench
cool.
run best, and then probably Dagobah, and then the trash compactor.
Same. Yeah.
But even then,
Yeah, I
I'd be
really
happy
like the
with any
trench
one
run.
of the 3. They all look good. I'm impressed. I will definitely pick up one of these,
yeah.
and it'll probably be the trench run because A, I like that scene better in general, and B, I mean, it's the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
That helps. I like the fact that the best one is the cheapest one.
Able to ship from April 26th.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Well, that's coming up pretty quickly here, so that's good. All right. Speaking of Lego,
Cool stuff.
have you guys looked into first, have you played the other Lego Star Wars video games?
A little bit.
A little, yeah,
Okay.
not a lot, but I've enjoyed them. I think that all the Lego games are just incredibly inventive and like truly inspired in terms of game design. I mean, just awesome stuff. So yeah,
I found that sometimes they're a little simplistic. They're cute to me, and they're cute in a truly enjoyable way, and they're fun, and I'll play them for a while. But I don't know, they're good. Have you guys looked at any of the gameplay footage for the new one, the complete saga that comes out, I think, on like the 5th or 6th of April, like in about a week and a half?
I have not.
Okay. I highly recommend you do. I was shocked at how different the gameplay is. Yeah.
Really?
So if you have, so first of all, over 300 characters available, playable characters. 300.
Wow. That's
So that's
wild.
amazing. They cover all 9 movies. The pre-order and I think the season pass thing, the deluxe edition, whatever, also includes the Mandalorian, Rogue One, and the Solo movie.
Wow.
And it's got kind of an open world area. There are at least open world areas. I don't know that every level is necessarily open world. There are a lot of branching paths through the different levels. You can come back and play with other characters. They've done that a little bit in the past with some of the games, but the mechanics of this. So if you have a firearm, a ranged weapon, instead of just kind of pointing and shooting with the top down view, you can hit a button and you kind of go over the shoulder of the character and you can duck behind cover and you can pop out and take aimed shots. You see the crosshairs over what it is you're shooting at. And the bad guys can take cover or in some cases build cover as well. And it was really interesting. Like the actual gameplay to me in the Lego games has been okay. It's simple. It's a button masher, right?
Mm-hmm.
This actually had some strategy to your attacks. Melee combat, you've got dodging, you've got combos, you've got indicators on the screen for which buttons you need to hit to make certain combos.
Nice.
It looked really, really good. The graphics, if you've got a modern system, look incredible. They look amazing. This is definitely like next level Lego game. And you can tell like right from the get-go, you can like, ooh, there's something different here.
I'm looking at the final preview right now, and yeah, I mean it's really, really cool stuff.
Yeah,
it's the gameplay is almost the same as their theatricals.
Yeah.
I mean it's that close. It's pretty cool.
On the PS5 and the new Xbox, like the shading and the lighting and the rendering, it's just totally next level.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm watching a thing, that's clearly in some sort of Imperial starship.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, everything is all nice and polished on the Imperial ships. And you've got like lights reflecting off of the floors and the shadows are perfect. And like they're shooting. And so there's sparks and you get reflections of the sparks everywhere. Like the rendering on this and whatever they're using for an engine is just fantastic.
It's really good. I watched the Tantive 4 battle from A New Hope. I saw the opening battle of Revenge of the Sith, including a boss fight with Count Dooku. Something from the sequel trilogy. It just all around, this looks like an incredible game. So I'm definitely going to pick it up. I'm going to get the pre-order for it. I get paid Friday, so get that pre-order in before it launches. But if you guys think you might be interested in this, or you've liked the other Star Wars games from Lego, this is so far beyond that. You need to watch some of the video footage.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I haven't actually seen much.
Yeah, pretty
look
impressive.
For actual. So the trailers, the theatrical stuff looks really good too, but specifically look for the gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory, but we have 2 things that have been all the rage over the last week or so. One is the casting for Mandalorian 3, and one is about an actor who may or may not be returning. Are you guys up to speed on both of these before we start talking about them? I caught Lou right as he was taking a drink there. So
more of one than the other. I mean, I'm more up to date on the new actor being cast in Mandalorian season 3,
Same.
and less on the other one.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that first. I want to say neither of these are spoilers in the sense that casting news, typically we just consider that news. That's part of promotional material. It's not a spoiler. And then the other one is speculation. It's not a rumor. It's not a leak. I don't have any insider information on it. I'm not considering that a spoiler either. Okay, so first the casting for Mandalorian 3. It has been reported that Christopher Lloyd will be appearing in The Mandalorian Season 3.
which is very cool. And I mean, obviously, Christopher Lloyd has like, I won't say that he's typecast because there's a range of it, but I mean, obviously, eccentric old guy is kind of his niche right now.
His latest role, have you seen it?
I have not.
There's a movie.
No.
So first of all, for those who don't recognize the name for some reason, hopefully you do, Doc Brown from the Back to the Future series.
Right.
Or the bad guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, etc. Okay. There's a movie called Nobody, people kind of refer to as like a poor man's John Wick movie, which was surprisingly good. I've wanted to cover it on Movie Chatter for a while now. We keep bumping it on our list for other things that pop up. He plays the lead character's older father in that movie and does a phenomenal job. He's a very small role, but it kind of stands out in my opinion.
Last year, my wife and I saw him live at an outdoor stage in Western Massachusetts.
Was he at that?
Playing, he played the title role in King Lear, and
wow.
So I mean, this is like very intimate Shakespearean outdoor stage, and it was for our anniversary. So I got first row seats, and literally I could have like grabbed his robe as he walked by.
Security could have grabbed you.
They frown on that. Yeah,
there'd be a lot of grabbing.
But I mean, like that close. That's how close Christopher Lloyd was to me, and it was so cool. It was a really intimate setting. Maybe 100 people there or something. And they did it all summer long. So I mean, they were constantly filling it. But just at that performance, really very cool.
How did he do in that role? Was it Doc Brown or was it? Or you could tell it was King Lear. I mean,
it was. So Doc Brown has kind of the frantic aspect to his personality. This was very, very subdued.
Okay,
this is
because a lot of things he does, I see Doc Brown. I'm like, okay, and that's why I'm kind of worried about him in.
I think that's because
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically because we grew up with Doc Brown. I mean, to us, to people of a certain age. Like the three present hosts of this show.
That's his polite way of saying you're old, Lou.
That is his iconic role to us. And
Well, I mean, the last thing I saw him do was I don't know if you call it a PSA for the last Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah.
He did that little skit.
No, I will say that when I saw him in Nobody as well, he was not, as you said, that frantic, great Scott, Dr. Brown character.
Right. Yeah.
He was a very different character. I think that it demonstrated that he's got some acting chops, and I can imagine him playing King Lear would be incredible. I could see him.
It's very cool.
Playing a number of different roles in The Mandalorian, and that kind of brings us around to what people think he might play. By the way, the chat room. Dan points out the Klingon captain from Trek 3, and Fatmatic said he was a master with shotguns. That was a reference to Nobody. Jim from Taxi, from Mediocre Modeler. He's been
that goes back a bit
in a lot of stuff. People have been speculating a couple of things. I've heard maybe when Moff Gideon goes on trial, maybe he'll be like the head of a tribunal or a judge or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because we're expecting it's probably going to be kind of a cameo type role, kind of like a Werner Herzog from season 1. Something kind of light.
Like
the other speculation though is with them
light, fairly prominent character that is like right up front with you.
Right.
But also not there the whole season.
Not the main character, not even a secondary character, an important character, but one we don't see frequently.
Yeah, that'd be good for me. I'd like that.
Now, the other rumor is, of course, we know that Ahsoka's chasing Thrawn. There is a rumor that maybe he could be playing, there are various different pronunciations of the character here. I'm going with what I recall to be the old audiobook pronunciation, but Joris Sabaoth.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The clone of Obi-Wan.
And like that would actually totally work, even when you consider the cover art from the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the wild hair and everything. Yeah, totally.
I think that's a lot of wish fulfillment. I think that it's not going to happen. However, now that it's been brought up, if we were going to fan cast Jorah Sabaoth, yeah, I want Christopher Lloyd. I think he'd nail
consider
it.
that box checked.
Oh,
yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Totally. And I feel like now if they are ever thinking about going in that direction, they really need to just get Christopher Lloyd to do it. Like, if that ball's already rolling, just get him. Yeah. I would not be sad if that's who he was cast as. But right now, we don't have any information. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing has been announced other than, I don't even know that the casting has officially been announced. It's just one of those things that's been leaked from reputable, like, publication level sources, like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, like that level of source. So we're considering it's a done deal. It's just a question of who's he going to be playing.
And of course, it very well could be an original character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the vast majority of the series has been original characters. So he could be playing someone that we just completely don't expect.
Din Djarin's uncle.
Yeah,
Who knows?
there you go.
Yeah.
Jake Lloyd's dad. No, never mind.
Yeah, maybe.
That's funny.
He'd be really, really, he'd be like Lou old by this point. Because, yeah. All right. So the other thing, and again, in our opinions, my opinion at least, this is not spoiler. Okay. There has been a lot of speculation, and in part based on what this actor has said in interviews recently, because it's been coming up a lot, that we may at some point see the return of Mace Windu. Now,
so
yeah,
you know, we get so much of this. We get it a lot here in the Star Wars fandom. We get it over in the Marvel fandom. It happens in DC. It happens with all these major franchises. And you get some cross of fan speculation. And of course, actually, this one is nothing new at all. Ever since, like, right after we saw him, quote, fall to his death, you had fan speculation from that point forward. The other side of this is that we also know that Sam Jackson would love to come back and play this character, has said it multiple times. And then you get this collision of these two things, and therefore it must be true.
Well, hold on a second. So I want to say that part of this is Mr. Jackson's fault too.
Well, like I said, he said, you know, I would love to come back and do it. And he even like gave an example, like a story example, which I'm sure you're going to mention here, right?
Possibly, depending on which story it is. There are a few. There's one of him convincing George Lucas to let him have a purple lightsaber. That was Sam Jackson's.
No. I mean the story that he said, like, well, and this is how Mace Windu would come back.
Right. So it has been confirmed that George Lucas has agreed that Mace Windu could have survived that fall. And it has been reported that George Lucas has told Samuel Jackson that, yeah, sure, you survived.
Well, okay. And also consider so now if you want to like do stuff in universe, you have a Sith Lord who fell down a, plasma generating shaft in the middle of a Death Star.
A super weapon. Yeah.
Dude survived.
After, let's be clear. It wasn't that he just survived the fall while being electrocuted into this big plasma generator thing. Then the entire planet-sized thing blew up in space, and he survived. Okay.
And don't forget that his buddy Vader juiced him with electricity before throwing him over. So
you guys make it sound so
Mace Windu just fell off a ledge. I mean,
Mace Windu loses a hand, falls off a ledge outside.
Everybody in Star Wars loses hands. Anakin,
Exactly.
Luke,
Exactly.
etc.
He got blown out a window. He couldn't get hit by a speeder bus coming the other way.
Anakin did a free fall through heavy traffic in Coruscant in the opening of episode 2, and then just landed in a seat of.
That was a controlled fall. He was flying.
And Mace couldn't have controlled his fall the same way. Is he's doing this? Oh, because there's a hand missing here. It's just a stump, and that makes it less aerodynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's totally alive.
I mean, I do completely believe that Mace Windu can be alive. Plus, Sam Jackson, who, by the way, Sam Jackson has never won an Oscar. Did you guys know that? 72, 73 years old, this massive filmography, has never won an Oscar. Been nominated a bunch of times. He was given, a couple days ago, the Academy Awards, Governor's Awards happened, because the actual, like, the main Academy Awards are tonight, like right now, maybe.
Who cares?
Or 6 minutes from now. But he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award, which is was very deserving. But
yeah, no, absolutely.
But Sam Jackson has never won an Academy Award.
I did not know that, and he deserves one. I heard this new movie he's got. I think it's on Apple TV Plus. Is supposed to be like his performance in it's supposed to be incredible, like absolutely Academy Award, like epitome of an award-winning.
Well, it's Sam Jackson, of course.
Hey, not Sam Jackson's performances have been worthy of getting these MF snakes off of this MF plane. I'm just saying, like, not all of them are at the same level as the others.
But no one else could have said that line better. I mean, you fully expect Sam Jackson to give that line. But look, when my biopic comes out, Sam Jackson's going to be playing.
Oh, he's already lined up for it, I bet.
Exactly.
By the way,
because who else do you cast?
Dan in the chat room pointed out, Lou, we also had the Sith Lord get chopped into half.
I saw it, yes.
Like severed through the spinal column and then survived for several seasons of 2 different TV shows. So, I mean... Yeah, I think Mace is okay.
And then comes back for a live action movie.
Right.
Yeah. So it wasn't even just animation. Like he lived into live action.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. No, Mace definitely fell into like the passenger seat of a little car as it was flying by. Probably scared the crap out of someone. Yeah. So one of the reasons this
blew out an expletive when he landed.
One of the reasons this has come up is because, in fact, I think it was this Apple TV Plus movie. He was working with Bryce Dallas Howard, who, of course, has directed some of the better episodes of The Mandalorian. And he had mentioned in some recent interviews that he had been speaking to her about maybe coming back. And that kind of got... So when I say, Sam Jackson's responsible for these rumors to some extent, like he's throwing fuel on the fire. That's kind of what I meant. And it's interesting because Deborah Chow is responsible for the Kenobi series. So some people have speculated maybe this means he's coming back in Kenobi. I don't think we're going to see him in Kenobi.
I don't think so.
I think it's going to be, if anything, I think Bryce Dallas Howard probably would be more than happy to work him into something she's doing for Star Wars, which would be The Mandalorian. So I'm expecting that if we were to see him, it'll be a Mandalorian season 3, and it could be that we see how Grogu got out of the Jedi Temple, maybe. Because if Mace Windu got chucked out that window and then landed in a speeder as it was going by, it's not like, he was going to Disneyland. I mean, he was going to park the dang thing and get right back into that temple.
So now it could be that. It could also be a second season of Book of Boba Fett, because Boba Fett's kind of not happy with Mace. Because Mace is kind of responsible for the beheading of dear old dad.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like probably big grudge match kind of thing.
Do you guys want to see that? I don't want to see that. Is that something you guys want to see?
I don't think I want to, but it's the connection for me that like is glowing with the brightest beacon, because like, wow, that's just the obvious story.
Right. I would rather them just kind of go their separate ways and do their own things. Like, it's a big galaxy. They don't even need to know that each other are alive.
True. Very true.
So I don't think we're going to get a second season of Book of Boba Fett. I think he's going to cross over into other things.
Okay.
It's my opinion. But
I mean, there's definitely more story to tell there.
Yeah, there is.
But I would also be fine if they didn't go into a second season. I do love what they've done with the character. I do want to see him in other things.
Oh, definitely.
But I'm okay if there's not a second.
I also think the fan reaction to that season was mixed enough, far more so than Mandalorian, that I think they would probably choose to use him in the Mandalorian side of things more. I think the Filoni verse is kind of becoming the Mando verse, and I think it's going to be one of those situations where it really kind of centers around Din Djarin more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to pop in and out, but I don't know that they're going to bring that back necessarily. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Any other comments before we wrap this up? Any other last words? Do we want to see Mace Windu come back? I mean, obvious answer from Tim.
I was going to say I will answer, but my most appropriate answer will require you to have a beeper.
Yeah.
So
I've got a little beeper there, but Lou.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him back, but I don't want him to overshadow what we're getting from the series.
Right.
And I'm afraid he would. It was mentioned in the chat room too that wouldn't he just overpower the whole storyline going on? And it could be, but if you worked him in somehow, I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
Or Windu the series.
I mean, we've had worse things.
I mean, I would love to see like what he's done, because obviously if they are going to put him into the Mandalorian, there's a very, very long gap of time there. And it's one of those things, I don't need to know everything. Even if it is a single throwaway line, which I still think we would want to have more than that. Like, there has to be some explanation of, dude, where you been?
So help me, if it has anything to do with snakes and any sort of aircraft or any sort of space travel, I will be so happy.
Snakes on a Starcruiser.
Yes. Okay. Oh, that would have been a great title for the episode.
They should actually fit in like a lot of his like most famous lines from his entire filmography.
That's a good point.
And to do it creatively enough, because unless they do want to exercise Disney Plus's new parental controls feature.
I was going to say, they couldn't do many of his more notable lines because a lot of them are
really
adult themed. Yeah.
I'm going to have to retitle this episode Snakes on a Starcruiser. I like that. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Force Chatter. Remember, we are going bi-weekly now, so we will be back every 2 weeks. We're going to do another one 2 weeks from today, Sunday night around 8 p.m. Eastern time. And by that point, I think the Star Wars Lego Complete Saga game will be out. I know I will have gotten to play a little bit. Hopefully you guys will have as well. And in the meantime, if you pick it up, we would love to hear what you think about that. So put that in the comments below or in our Discord server. Go to randomchatter.com/Discord and join us there. We have a separate video games channel. We have Star Wars channel. We got a lot of different channels there for a lot of different conversations on a lot of different things across the Random Chatter network. So join us there. Throw comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, go to youtube.com/randomchatter and hit the subscribe and like button, please. And that's going to do it for this episode of Force Chatter. If you are in the live chat right now, stick around in about probably 10 or 15 minutes. We will be back with Random Chatter talking about the things we've been watching over the last week. And we do have some very interesting picks for this week, so you're not going to want to miss that. So until then, take care.